Today I'm going to share my 3 favorite snacks that help balance glucose while still helping you enjoy carbohydrates. The most important discovery I've made in my entire career happened 5 years ago, and it's thanks to Karen Hurd, biochemist and nutritionist, who I've had on my show many times. You can search for her right now on YouTube. She taught me that when blood glucose drops, you have a spike in adrenaline. That's a really important discovery because as a trauma therapist, I am working with demographics of bodies, people who are filled with adrenaline. Someone that has chronic stress, anxiety, insomnia, panic attacks, overwhelm is someone who is dealing with excessive amounts of adrenaline in their bloodstream. Now, one reason why we make adrenaline is in response to external threat. When an animal is chasing you, when a person is fighting with you, when a big explosion goes off, the body ramps up into survival mode and gets you out of there so you can survive. This is called fight or flight response, and adrenaline propels that response. But what a lot of people don't understand or make the connection with is adrenaline is also stimulated or secreted from the adrenals when there's an internal threat. And one of the most common daily internal threats your body experiences is glucose fluctuations in terms of spikes and dips. Now, glucose is always fluctuating. It's always doing this throughout the day based on what you're eating, based on how much energy you're putting out, based on how much cognition you're going through and thinking and talking and reading, right? Moving. So it's a constant balancing act, a seesaw all day long of your blood glucose trying to keep balance. So it takes a little bit from food, takes a little bit from the liver, the muscles where we store glucose, and keeps that balance in the blood at a reasonable level so your cells and your brain can be fueled throughout the day. However, when you're having a glucose spike or glucose dip, your body's experiencing a massive internal crisis because a glucose spike can lead to death, as can a blood glucose dip. Now, I don't mean spikes that we get from eating a candy bar. I mean when sugar keeps building up in the body, your body reads that as a potential threat, even if it's not going to be one. And so your pancreas secretes insulin, quickly lowers blood glucose, but then that glucose drops so far, it goes under the balance that it needs, which is 4 to 7 grams usually in your whole bloodstream. And then your adrenals kick in to make the liver give up stored glycogen. Glycogen is just a name for glucose that is stored in the liver and the muscles for when we need it. So every time your glucose dips, whether it's because of insulin or because you've skipped a meal, your adrenals have to stimulate and secrete adrenaline to get that stored glucose out of the liver to bring harmony and balance to your body again. Now, adrenaline doesn't just go directly to the liver and release the glucose. Adrenaline is now circulating through your body, so it's increasing your vigilance. It's increasing muscle tension. It's increasing your heart rate. It's increasing anxiety and overwhelm and panic. All of that amplifies because adrenaline is now circulating in your body. So it can touch the liver and remove that glucose, but also affects all these other systems, including your nervous system and your brain. And this is why it's so important as a trauma therapist to understand and work with this. Most of the clients and students I work with are not having lives that are filled with daily threat. They might have stress here and there, but it's nothing that should traumatize the body. However, when your daily life and your daily life habits around food are causing constant glucose spikes and dips, then your body is having an internal threat response. You are becoming more adrenalized and you're dealing with and experiencing stress and anxiety and tension in a way that's incongruent with your lifestyle, meaning you might find yourself overreacting to things, not being able to tolerate simple stressors that come up, and not even having the capacity to show up to life. You might be so overwhelmed because of what your body's already going through from food. So starting to understand how you can level or balance your glucose can prevent excess adrenaline being stimulated from the adrenals throughout the day. And the less adrenaline you're stimulating because of your diet, the less stress you're incurring throughout your day, meaning you have more capacity for actual life stressors as they emerge. It also means your other hormones come into greater balance, including sex hormones, sleep hormones like melatonin, even hunger and hormones that allow you to digest food better, metabolize food better, and balance body temperature from the thyroid, for instance. So a lot comes into balance when your body isn't being dominated by adrenaline. And one way we can remove, or one factor we can play with to remove the body being dominated by adrenaline, is foods and food habits that create way too much of a glucose spike or a glucose dip. So I have a whole mini course that will be coming out on this. You can go to my website to watch the webinar now, or you can sign up for the mailing list and you'll hear about the mini course when it comes out, which is all about how to balance glucose to avoid these adrenal spikes, what I call the sugar to adrenaline sequence. But what I'm going to leave you with right now are 3 of my favorite snacks and possible meals, depending on how hungry you are and when you eat and how much you eat, that are really helpful at enjoying carbohydrates and the taste of them, while also balancing how quickly they turn into sugar. So slowing down the conversion rate to keep your glucose much more balanced so it's not spiking or dipping, and then your adrenals aren't being set off every time you eat something. The first thing is toast with sauerkraut and avocado. This is one of my favorite things to offer people because everyone loves bread. And usually when you start talking about carbohydrates and glucose, you're being told to stay away from bread. Now, that is true if you're putting jam on your bread, but it's not necessarily true when you're putting a lot of fat and fiber on your bread, especially protein. So if you have a piece of toast and you lather that up with half an avocado or a whole avocado, and then you put some sauerkraut on top of that, and you want to go the next mile and put a little fish or chicken or an egg on it, you have an incredible meal right there, or a snack that's going to not convert into sugar as quickly, and because the fat and protein slow that down. And so you're enjoying a carbohydrate, you're being filled, you're being nourished by these incredible fats from the avocado and the lovely proteins from these animal proteins. And then you get all this fiber, prebiotics and probiotics from the sauerkraut. So you're also increasing the diversity in your gut microbiome, which helps with neurotransmission, things like dopamine and serotonin. So this is an incredible little snack, or even breakfast, which is what I used to really offer to my clients to switch their cereal breakfast and their sandwich breakfast from to a piece of toast with avocado, a protein of your choice if you want that, and sauerkraut on top of it. This is a great way to start the day and to keep your glucose balanced throughout the morning so you have much more energy, less of an emotional roller coaster, and you can still enjoy a piece of bread. My second favorite snack is celery with a nut or seed butter of your choice. Celery is excellent for your nervous system because of the abundance of minerals it provides. So having celery with a nut butter or a seed butter on top of it gives you these incredible minerals, a wonderful dose of fiber from the celery, then really good fats and protein from the nut and seed butter. So it can really hold you over while not contributing to any glucose spikes or dips and keeping your blood glucose balanced. My third favorite snack is a handful or 2 of salted cashews with a handful or 2 of blueberries. Blueberries are incredible because they are super high in antioxidants. Antioxidants are very important players in protecting our organs and our cells in our bodies from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress comes from running, breathing very fast, and having a lot of adrenaline and stress moving through your body. So the more antioxidants you have each day, the more your body's being protected from any kind of damage that comes from these daily stressors. It's actually recommended that we get around 3,000 to 5,000 auric units of antioxidants each day. Guess how much is in a half cup of blueberries? 4,700. So just a half a cup of blueberries, you have already exceeded what you're supposed to be getting each day in antioxidants. So I love that handful or 2 of blueberries with the handful or 2 of nuts or seeds that are salted to balance the glucose you're going to get from the fructose in the blueberries. You get a bunch of fiber, a bunch of antioxidants, a bunch of fat, and a bunch of protein. It is an excellent snack to satisfy cravings, to give you an amazing hit of antioxidants, and to balance your glucose. You're not spiking or dipping, which means you get to avoid your adrenals being stimulated. Some people like me, love to add a little square or two of dark chocolate. And it's very important if you do this that the amount of dark chocolate you're eating is 4 grams or less of added sugar. The fat in the dark chocolate will make that 4 grams of sugar slowly release into your bloodstream, so you won't necessarily get a spike from it. So you can still enjoy chocolate without spiking your adrenals. These are my favorite tips right now to give you, where you can include some kind of yummy carbohydrate or sweet with some kind of fat or protein to balance your glucose so you can emotionally enjoy a snack without stressing your adrenals. Try it out and let me know in the comments what you notice. Thank you for watching today's episode. Please like and subscribe if you found it useful, and let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next. If you want to learn much more about nutrition, especially through the somatic lens and how you can use food to recover from stress and trauma, there's really no better time than now, because I am about to lead a 6-month nutrition group that begins on July 8th. This group meets every week for 6 months, and I will teach you everything from somatic practices to help you be with the emotions that come up around dieting and food, as well as the nutritional biochemical component of protein, carbohydrates, fats, and how to understand instinctive eating in a way that nourishes your body instead of just soothing your emotions. When you bring somatic practices with nutritional ones, you get to eat for nourishment and then learn other ways to hold your emotions and tend to yourself instead of using food that could be detrimental to your health and your balance of your body. For more information about this group, please click on the link below in the episode details, and you have until July 7th to register. I look forward to seeing you in there. I have developed a 4-week self-paced course that takes 18 years of my personal and professional experience and puts it into one place where you can easily and quickly learn the foundations of recovering from stress and trauma. How does the food you eat affect your stress levels? How do the relationships in your life create stress or peace? How does the relationship you have with your body allow you to feel happier and more settled? I will cover all this and so much more in this 4-week self-paced course. And the best part, it's self-paced. You don't have to sign up at a certain date or finish it at a certain time. It's yours for life, and it's waiting there for you when you're ready to finish it. Throughout this course, I'll be teaching you philosophies and practices that combine my 3 favorite modalities: somatic experiencing, embodied parts work, and nutrition. For more information on this course, click on the link in my episode details.
Getting there, it was just, I could tell something special was about to happen.
There's just something about in-person retreats that just doesn't compare to online space.
Minla is outstandingly beautiful. Why not be there with Luis and his team?
My body knew that something intense was going to happen in the most beautiful way.
It was all about getting what each and every one of us needed and what the community needed.
My biggest takeaway is that I got introduced to myself.
We're just a bunch of misfits trying to find community with one another, and that's where my heart just blasted open because I felt like seen, and yeah, it was beautiful. I loved it.
Oh, and I forgot to mention something very important. I'm offering a $700 discount for anyone who registers before April 15th because this is our last US-based HLN team retreat until 2027. In 2026, we'll be doing this in Europe. So if you want to get in this year in upstate New York, in America, please visit holisticlifenavigation.com, click on events, find the retreat, and when you go to the registration page, make sure you type in the discount code HLN700. And as long as it's before April 15th, you get $700 off your entire purchase. So check the calendar right now, and if it's before April 15th, go register, enjoy the discount, and I cannot wait to see you there.